Good morning, leaders, consultants, clinicians, colleagues and friends. It's a great privilege to stand here today as we celebrate 30 years of Tavistock Consulting. As you've already heard, Tavistock Consulting began as a specialised consultancy focusing on distinct coaching approach for the commercial and public sector. But over the decades, our partnership with the NHS has developed and deepened, and it's now a central part of our identity and our purpose. So over the next 10 minutes, I want to reflect on the journey that we've shared and the unique value that the system's psychodynamic approach to consulting and coaching to healthcare leadership, and consider why is this approach still not just relevant, but essential for the future of the NHS. So as we all know, the NHS stands at a critical juncture. Recent years have tested the resilience of our healthcare system in ways that we could never have imagined. The announcement of Amanda Pritchard stepping down as NHS England's CEO and the appointment of Sir Jim Mackey marks the end of an era and the beginning of something new. Wes Streeting has articulated an ambitious reform agenda emphasising prevention, community care and digital transformation, whilst promising to address the fundamental workforce challenges. His approach signals a potential rebalancing of priorities and a renewed focus on long-term sustainability rather than crisis management. Whatever your different opinions, and I'm sure there are many, one thing we can all align on is the fact that the NHS faces further changes and uncertainty. And against this backdrop of further transition, the lingering impact of the pandemic continues to reverberate through the NHS, from record waiting lists to workforce burnout. Financial pressures mount as inflation drives up cost against a backdrop of tightening budgets. Meanwhile, workforce challenges have reached crisis levels with staffing gaps across all professional groups and high turnover rates. The technology revolution promises to transform healthcare delivery while simultaneously disrupting established workflows and relationships. These challenges that we face are not merely technical problems awaiting technical solutions. They touch on the deepest aspects of organisational and professional identity. They evoke powerful emotions, anxiety, uncertainty, sadness, anger, and of course hope. These emotions impact and shape behaviour and decision making at every level of the system. So let me turn to Tavistock Consulting and what is so distinctive and special and unique about our approach to organisational consultancy and what makes it relevant to the challenges facing NHS leaders today. Well, firstly, the system psychodynamic approach, unlike many other approaches that focus mainly on structural solutions or process improvements, the Tavistock approach recognises that powerful emotions lie just beneath the surface of organisational life, not always beneath the surface. When a new electronic patient record is implemented or service improvements are put in place, these are not just operational challenges. We see these changes create profound emotional responses that require shifts in identity, purpose, and relationships across the workforce. These emotions, as we all know, if not processed, can lead to defensive and problematic behaviours that get in the way of productivity. Dynamics we'll all recognise, maybe even have carried out ourselves: fighting, fleeing, scapegoating, denial, silo mentality, overworking, or an obsessive focus on the task at the expense of relationships with our colleagues. At Tavistock Consulting, we help leaders to recognise and understand these dynamics and go beyond them by bringing the emotions lying just beneath the surface to conscious awareness. We help process the feelings and reduce the intensity of these dynamics. Secondly, the Tavistock approach believes that leadership is not merely a set of competencies, but it's a really important role within a system. We help leaders understand how they take up authority and how authority is taken up within their organisation, how boundaries are managed, how conflicting demands are balanced, and the impact of this on their people, on the dynamics, and on productivity. And thirdly, our approach honours the complexity of healthcare systems and the impact of the socio-economic and political context upon the system. Rather than encourage leaders to seek absolute answers, we help them think about the problems that they're facing within the context of the wider system. We help them to tolerate the discomfort of not knowing and resist jumping to simple and certain answers too quickly. So let me offer you a few examples of our recent work to illustrate this. We worked with the trust leadership during their period of post-pandemic recovery, helping them acknowledge the toll of sustained crisis management. We help them repair ruptures in relationships, recover from moral injury, and whilst doing that, maintain the capacity for strategic thinking and compassionate leadership as they led the organisation into the next phase. And we're currently supporting another trust executive team to think through the requirement presented to them recently by the new health minister to balance the books, reduce the costs, and increase productivity. It's a challenge. We're helping them to manage their own feelings about this, and therefore to then be able to manage those of staff, and to work together, both with each other and with their staff group, to find creative solutions. We consulted to a renal department who were in a negative spiral of increased critical incidents, staff complaints, poor staff morale, high turnover, and a toxic workplace culture. Over a period of time, we enabled them to turn their units round to a workplace of collaboration and support, reduce the critical incidents, and most importantly to them, improve patient care and experience. In each of these contexts, the system psychodynamic approach was and is not a quick fix, an easy answer, a piece of advice, or a leaflet that we leave, or a report. But it's a way of thinking that honours complexity. It attends to emotional reality and creates the conditions for sustainable change. So as we navigate the challenges ahead, from health inequalities to climate resilience, from digital transformation to workforce sustainability, the NHS will need not just technical expertise, but emotional intelligence and systemic wisdom. And I believe that three aspects of our approach will be vital to this. First, we can help create reflective spaces amid the relentless pressure to act and to do. The pace and the volume of change in the NHS leaves us with little time for thoughtful consideration of complex dynamics. Yet without the reflection and the time to think about them, even the most well-designed interventions risk failure. Second, we can raise awareness of the emotional impact of change. As the NHS continues its journey of transformation and change, understanding how change is experienced, not just how it's designed, is crucial. Only when we truly recognise the impact of change on human beings and implement change with this in mind can we truly transform our NHS. And third, we can help hold the integration of multiple perspectives. In an increasingly polarised society, the ability to hold multiple truths simultaneously, to see the system from different vantage points, is a leadership imperative. And we can support leaders to stay in that state of mind. So, Tavistock Consulting, unlike many other consultancies, exists within the NHS. We bring direct experience and understanding of the NHS to our work, and we are a resource for the NHS. Reports suggest that the NHS currently spends hundreds of millions of pounds annually on external management consultancy, resources flowing outside the system at a time of unprecedented financial pressure. Surplus that comes out of our work at Tavistock Consulting gets put straight back into NHS services at the clinic. This means that every pound spent with us is a pound reinvested in the NHS. We keep the NHS pound within the NHS. Imagine the impact if even a fraction more of that expenditure were redirected to consultancies like ours that puts money back into the NHS. So as we celebrate 30 years of Tavistock Consulting, we honour not just an organisational milestone, but a tradition of learning. While so much has changed, our core commitment remains constant, to engage with the full humanity of organisational life, with all its messiness and all its contradiction and all its potential. In a healthcare system under pressure to simplify, standardise and control, this approach offers opportunity and challenge. It challenges us to resist the temptation to fall into reductionist thinking and to acknowledge that human systems cannot be fully engineered or controlled. It provides us with the opportunity to invite curiosity where there's certainty, compassion where there's judgment, and connection where there's fragmentation. To our NHS colleagues, thank you for your partnership that has grown and deepened over the years, for trusting us with your challenges, for engaging courageously with difficult realities, and your unwavering commitment to the health and well-being of our communities. And to my consulting colleagues, thank you for your dedication to this work, for the rigour of your thinking and the depth of your engagement, and your willingness to stand in uncomfortable spaces in service of learning and growth. Together, we've got a lot of work ahead. The challenges facing the NHS are formidable. The stakes are high. Yet I remain convinced that by bringing together the best of systems thinking with a deep understanding of human experience, we really can navigate this complexity with wisdom, compassion and effectiveness. Today, you will hear from NHS leaders who've worked with Tavistock Consulting. You'll have the opportunity to attend breakout sessions and to hear about the work from some of our consultants and to engage with the approach. I encourage you to make the most of the day. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy the presentations, network with each other, connect and celebrate with us. Here's to the next 30 years of Tavistock Consulting and NHS partnership, learning and impact. Thank you.
Thank you.